you can tell how the workout's going to play out for them before they even step in there.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst thing you can do is overestimate your ability.
Yeah.
Where it's like, everyone does it with the workouts. They just don't think about the total volume. They go, it's a couplet, and it goes 1 to 10 and back to 1. No one goes, oh shit, it's 100 deadlifts. When last have I done 100 deadlifts?
Welcome back to the Unbound podcast. Today's video is all about the CrossFit Open. People who overestimate their ability and expecting results that you haven't put the work in for. How to overcome this and get the best open score possible. The CrossFit Open.
B23
Starts 16th of February. Yes? 17th for us?
16th, it'll be the 17th for us.
Yeah. Okay. So it's essentially a month and a half away. The CrossFit Open, right around the corner. For the general population, what is something that they need to be focusing on now, and what kind of mindset do they need to have, I guess, coming into the Open from your experience?
From my experience, the biggest thing that people probably get wrong is a lack of consistency leading in.
Yeah.
They have one good week, one bad week, and they kind of just don't string any momentum together.
Yeah.
Everything's very broken and disconnected. So one week they do 5 sessions, next week they do 1.
Yeah. Okay.
The consistency is something that's going to help build confidence. So it'll help them build confidence in their capacity, and it'll help them understand their level of fitness. For most people, you can probably qualify by just executing the workout based on your current fitness level.
Yeah.
If we look at what most people do, it's the excitement, it's the atmosphere. They get carried away. 3, 2, 1, go. Out the gates, way too hot.
Full send,
Yeah.
baby. That's the only way to do it, isn't it? I thought if you go super hard in that first round and you win, does that mean you're the greatest athlete of all time?
I don't know if it's because all the cameras are out, so everyone's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Or just like they see so many people ready to hit this workout. For some reason, they think that it matters that in that 15-minute AMRAP, they win that first round.
Yeah.
Like somehow they're ahead. And it's like, well, that's just not the case. I guess one of the other things on that, how the inconsistency of many people's training can affect their overall performance when it comes to the Open. One of the things that Jess always observes, when she always tells me, and it's quite humorous when it comes to the Open, is the amount of extra training people generally pick up within the last month leading up to the Open. But these are the same people you'll never see in the gym twice after the Open.
Yeah, it's work done. It's an expression of your practice, and your results are based off what you've done. So you can't get angry at the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do.
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest thing people need to just be open with themselves. Is just like, I didn't do the work, so don't set the expectations too high.
Yeah. Okay.
You haven't done the repeat sets of burpees. You haven't done the thrusters. You haven't put yourself in those situations. So you need to be putting yourself almost through worse in your training, and then it's just an expression of that practice.
Yeah.
And you're not going to do it all the time, but if you have gone and done a workout and you've done 38 thrusters unbroken at 50, now you've got a set of 21, you're going to be confident going into that barbell because you know you've done harder.
Yeah, exactly. You've got that record, that previous experience of, yes, I can do this. Whether you should do it or not is another question, but the fact that you can do it when it's called upon might be valuable, especially in a workout where seconds can mean thousands of places. And if the next stage is something that you're looking at, that could be something that you need to really make the decision on the fly, or at least have a chat to your coaches, potentially people around you, whether that's a good idea. Nothing's worse than sending the first round of a 3 or 4 round workout and then trying to back it up and just not having the juice. So I guess it's like play it by ear, play it by your own ability. Like everyone's different. You know yourself better than anyone. You know exactly what works for you, whether you can hold on for 21 reps and then back it up, or whether the thruster is the absolute ending movement of your life. So maybe smaller sets might be more valuable. For you, how many CrossFit Opens have you done, Michael, personally?
I've personally done 6.
6. And so so your first CrossFit Open, do you remember the first year you started?
I think it was 2016.
2016?
Yeah.
What was your biggest...
Might have been 2015. I think I missed a year somewhere in there.
Yeah, okay. What was your biggest mistake you ever made in a CrossFit Open workout in your 6 years of experience?
It's it's a funny story because my first Open, my second, and my third I got worse. So my first open was like my best because I came in with good base fitness, but I didn't have any strength.
Yeah.
And as we know from the open, like being good on the rower or being good at burpees or being like light and coming from like a bit of an endurance background, that stuff was really easy for me.
Yeah.
I think I was only like 81 kilos at the time. So like I was really light. That kind of stuff was super easy for me.
Yeah.
It was the lifting that got me. So when the lifting came in the following years and we had the clean and jerks and we had what would be a lightweight snatch now, back then was a heavyweight snatch.
Yeah.
I had a couple of years of regressing. So for me, it was more what I was good at had to kind of take a back burner.
Yeah.
And I had to just spend more time working on what I was bad at.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of conversation about CrossFit having a bias towards strength, towards lifting in general. Now, the open is not usually a phase that we see too much of that bias.
No.
Normally there's maybe one, if not none, like no components at all that involve a lifting element to it. But it does separate a lot of people when a lift can mean thousands of places. If you do well in 3 or 4 cardio workouts and then it gets to a lift and you're not as competent, or maybe it's
for the boys it's the 100-kilo snatch.
Yeah, that's especially like
for the girls it's generally a 50-kilo snatch.
It's a limiter. It's a big limiter, and it can pull you back. So looking at the first mistake that we've identified is just getting caught up in the moment, getting too hot, like seeing everyone go, the lights, the cameras, the judges, the whole competition environment. Nothing wrong with getting excited, but just not too excited, and making sure that you have some form of a plan going into a workout.
That's the biggest one. Like we go through the process of, this will be the first time you've done the open with us.
Yeah.
We run it as if we're running a comp and we coach through it. So the way we do it is we write warm-ups for everyone. We'll normally write 2 or 3 different warm-ups for different types of athletes, and we'll give 3 strategies based on different limitations. So we'll go, okay, this workout is going to bias this. This is the total hinge volume on the deadlift. If you are good at deadlifts, this is where you take your risk. If you are good at burpees, this is where you take your risk. So we try and give as much guidance as we can.
Yeah.
Matt and I, it's normally a good 2 or 3 hours that it takes us to get through everything and get it out to everyone.
Yeah.
And then we will literally, we set up heats. So you book in and we run 5 hours of heats on a Friday and 5 hours of heats on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And that way we create the atmosphere in that. And even with that, we still have the same problem. Like, we put everything in place that we can to try and mitigate it and try and give people the best opportunity to be successful. But sometimes it just gets the better of you.
Yeah. Some people just get into it.
Too much nervous energy.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that's fine. You just need to learn from it.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to have those mistakes in the comfort of your own gym, in a simulated competition that realistically is just a normal Metcon in most cases. Is nothing special about it, but I guess it's like, for a lot of people it is their very first competition, and it's going to be their first exposure to what that extra 10% does. Whether that competition environment gives you that little bit of extra boost that you normally wouldn't have in like a conventional gym workout that you're doing in the class environment. So I guess that's really good. So you've got a setup for the members here at Unbound. So they've already got most of the hard work taken care of. So they've got the strategy, they've got the plan to make sure they don't go all out.
They've got a schedule, so they know when to get here to warm up. They know when they're competing. It's not sporadic.
You're not waiting 6 hours to do your one workout and putting yourself off.
The one thing I would say that you can do to help that is a strategy that I've used recently is don't set the strategy yourself so much.
Yeah.
The more experienced guys can, but ask someone who knows you quite well. So someone who you train with a fair bit, and go, hey, I'm thinking about doing sets of 10 on my chest bar. What do you think? They will probably give you a more accurate answer.
Yeah, exactly.
You will tend to overestimate your capacity.
Yeah.
And then that will catch up with you in the workout. So they might be like, oh yeah, you can do 20 unbroken. Don't go past a set of 7.
Yeah.
Just try and keep it denser. So it is a strategy you can use, is just ask someone else for their opinion, but listen to their opinion. The amount of times that people ask and then you tell them and then they don't listen.
Yeah, and they just do their own thing, end up sending it, their workout's over.
Yeah, and you can tell how the workout's going to play out for them before they even step in there.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst thing you can do is overestimate your ability.
Yeah.
Where it's like, everyone does it with the workouts. They just don't think about the total volume. They go, it's a couplet. and it goes 1 to 10 and back to 1. No one goes, oh shit, it's 100 deadlifts when last have I done 100 deadlifts?
Yeah, exactly. 100 deadlifts after doing burpees with minimal to no rest, no transition time, just like straight into the barbell. And like, I guess for a lot of people, their setup position really got the better of them in that one, where a lot of people complain about a sore back.
They just went too hard too early.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't break it early enough. They didn't realize that the back end of the workout was the workout.
Yeah.
Like, in their training, everyone got used to the 55 deadlifts because that's what CrossFit normally programmed. Was, okay, we're going to get about 45 to 55 reps at the 103 kilos.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they upped it. And it was
Double
like,
or nothing.
And no one had been training that volume.
Yeah.
And your top level athletes were always going to be able to handle that.
Yeah.
But for your general population, that was a bit of a shock to the system.
Yeah.
And they just needed to prepare for it.
Yeah.
So they needed to be conservative through the first 55 reps, knowing that they were stepping into something that they hadn't experienced before.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if you've never run 10K, you've only ever run 5, but now you're going to go run 10 because you've jumped into a 10K comp.
Yeah.
You're not going to sprint PB your first 5K.
And then just crawl for the last 5.
But that's kind of what we saw.
Yeah. That's the silly kind of mindset that ends up coming out during these kind of workouts. So we've got making sure, firstly, that you have a plan of attack coming into the workout, not just going balls deep and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Then from there, you're going to ask a friend about an opinion about that plan, or a coach, someone who knows you fairly well, to make sure that what you've planned isn't over or underestimating your own ability. But simplest thing for the open, that's going to cover off this video. However, if you don't feel like we covered everything from this video, don't hesitate to leave your questions in the comments down below. Thanks for listening to the podcast.